Welcome to Rockhampton with Nyree Johnson, the podcast that celebrates the people, places, and stories that make Rocky and the wider Central Queensland community extraordinary. I firmly believe we're sitting on a golden goose in this region, and I love meeting the people who are doing the quiet work behind the scenes to keep the community thriving. They run our sports clubs, they organise our charities, they support the people who are lost in the system, and they volunteer their time so generously. And I feel like the luckiest person in the world when someone shares their story with me privately. And now I'm privileged to bring their stories and achievements to you, the listeners of Rockhampton with Nyree Johnson. Sometimes they wonder why they were asked, thinking that what they're doing and what they've done is not that big of a deal. And I can hand on heart tell you that it absolutely is. Other times, my guests are ecstatic to be asked, and they look forward to sharing a piece of their Rocky and Central Queensland story. Thank you for listening in. I truly appreciate you being here.
Are you serious?
No.
Nath,
Yep.
how many times have I asked you to do this podcast and you have avoided it?
There's nothing like coming home from work and you go, hey, I want you to come on my podcast. It's like the biggest stitch up ever. Like,
Well, anyway,
here I am.
here you are. For those who don't know, Nathan is my podcast guest this week, and Nathan is also my husband.
Lucky me.
Yeah, you should be lucky. Very different podcast today because the typical questions that I ask, I already know them. While the audience doesn't, I will probably touch on some of them, but it'll just be in conversation. But the reason I wanted to talk to you and you and I together is because this episode goes live a couple of days before Rocky Nats. And Rocky Nats is just one part of our story. We have lots of parts of our story, 26 years together. What's it been, 20 years married this year?
20 years married. Yep.
2006?
Yep.
Out at the caves.
In the caves. Yep.
Yep. It was nice though. So I saw something on Instagram that I screenshot because I thought it was pretty cool. And you know, sometimes I send you these things on Instagram. and
Sometimes I check it too.
you give me no response.
It was probably because I didn't check it.
Anyway, I don't know if I sent you this one or not, but it said something like, you know, like our story began with us, and this is really corny, but like we fell in love when we had nothing and we built everything that we have together and we grew up together. And I'm 40, almost 41, and you're really old. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you're 46 this year.
Yep.
And it's been a long time, but it's been a fun time. And back to the actual point though, Rocky Nats. So tell me, we'll focus on Rocky Nats first. Tell me what you love about Rocky Nats.
I can tell you that going back to when I was a teenager and we used to have the Street Machine magazines would come out just about every month, I think it was. They'd 12 editions a year or something like that. I used to, because I was working, I would go down to the news agency, buy Street Machine every month. And when Summer Nats would come out, I remember Summer Nats 6 and 7 and all those, and I think they're up to Summer Nats 30 now, they're showing my age. But anyway, like I remember those when I remember Summer Nats 10 and reading about them in the magazines and that sort of stuff. So I've always been into the car scene and that, and from early on in my teenagers. So the purpose of coming, when Summer Nats came to Rockhampton and said, hey, we're going to have Rocky Nats, I went, you beauty. Finally, we're going to get some cars in Rocky, some really quality builds and burnouts and all that sort of stuff. Little did I know that would just be an epic 3 days of the biggest street parades that you ever see, the best burnout comps that you could ever think about beside our mighty Fitzroy River. Like, that's just awesome. Street drags, nearly all the other places they go, they've got a dedicated drag strip. We do our street racing. Unreal. Like stuff that we grew up doing that we shouldn't have been doing, you know? So it's nearly full circle to be able to go, yep, let's just really take Rocky Nats and run with it. And I really, from missing the first one because we went camping, not because of anything else, it's because it was COVID and
it's what we did every year at Easter.
That's exactly right. And we went camping. So we missed the very, very first one, which was not too bad, I suppose, because there was a lot of restrictions because of COVID and that
There was
sort of
quite
stuff.
a bit of rain too. I think that Sunday got mostly cancelled of that weekend.
Yeah. But from what I hear, it was still a spectacular weekend. Lots of people turned up. It was, and every year since, what are we up to, Rocky Nat 6 now? Every year since, they've been breaking records. So I'd like to think that we contribute to that. We've always had, since the second one, we were walking around and that's when we decided to buy the Mustang and do the Mustang up for Rocky Nats 3. And since Rocky Nats 3, we've had your car in. We've sponsored the event through Johnson's 4 Drive, and it's just been one of those things that we love getting involved in. So yeah. So right from the get go, from being a kid, it's been awesome to watch the summer Nats keep going, and now to branch out and have Rocky Nats and Northern Nats and Red Centre Nats and all those sorts of other places that they go to, and having the Burnout Masters tour with them and bringing those high-end cars into regional areas. So I just really love it. Yeah.
The first year that we entered the Mustang into Rocky Nats as an entrant car, and it was just supposed to be in the street parade, and I ended up in the street drags.
So I am responsible for the entries, okay? Now, the first year we entered the Mustang because I didn't want to miss out, because I poured my heart and soul and blood, sweat and tears into the Mustang to get it ready.
Did you deliberately enter me into the street drag?
It was I don't know what happened. I really don't. So this is honest to God. So I have my my entry in. So my entry number is number 730, and your entry was 708. So on the car, there's 2 entry stickers, so they know that there's 2 drivers. So when we go down for scrutineering with the car, you got to dial in your street drags, because I wanted to do the street drags because it's something I used to do as a kid when I first got my license. So I was happy to dial my name in and put my number in, and then I go, so what's Nyree's street drag number? And this number will be fine for her too. Okay, all right. So then we've got a surprise for you, that you got to learn about reaction times and what to do with the tree. Is it a pro start, or those sorts of things? So yeah, so that was a hectic 36 hours.
That was a very short amount of time to learn how to street drag properly.
Yeah.
And I was staged for my very first run watching YouTube videos about how to drag race.
Yeah.
And I guess this goes back to, as you've heard this a million times from me, when an opportunity presents itself, you just say yes and figure it out later. And it is a ball. Have an absolute blast doing street drags in that Mustang.
What would you have done if you had not said, I'm not going to do it?
Oh, I would have regrets.
You would have.
If you'd entered me, which you did, and didn't tell me,
I didn't know.
I found out 36 hours at scrutineering that I was entered in street drags, you're lying.
I'm not lying.
You are. You are. You're such a salesman.
I'm not lying, though. I did not know that your entry had been ticked off for street drags. I did not know.
Okay. So anyway, that's fine. We're past that now. We're going again this year. Well, I'm street dragging again this year, and we've got the newest edition. The Suzuki Jimny will be down in where?
Down the SWL Ford display. So the Jimny is something that we've been working on for the last 6 months, basically. It's a little bit ridiculous. So, and if you know Nyree, like most of you do, no show without punch. So I have the comfortable cars and Nyree has the ridiculous ones. And that's not by choice. That's because, that's the way she likes it. So when Nyree said to me, I've just bought a Jimny. Okay, what are we going to do to this thing? Well, I want it to look like a little monster truck. Okie dokie. So we're basically on our way to making it look like that. So we're here this weekend testing out the 4-wheel drive system. We're actually sitting in Byfield National Park at 5 Rocks. Doesn't look like much beach here because we're up in the campground, but it's quite lovely up here. The breeze is nice.
And it is Easter. And to be honest, to go back to the Rocky Nats thing, we forgot how to do Easter for a few years. And so we're still figuring it out. We're like, oh, hang on, we lost this Easter tradition.
Yeah.
We spent it at Rocky Nats, and then Rocky Nats moved, and now we're refiguring out how to do Easter.
Yeah, that's right. This is good. So every Easter, it's our son's birthday.
Not every
Easter, but most Easters.
But it is today, the day that we're recording this podcast.
Yeah. So we've got his car for the first time that he's driven it up to 5 Rocks. We've got the Jimny, which has come up to 5 Rocks for the first time.
And pause on the Jimny for a second and tell us about the GQ Patrol / Ford Maverick.
The Mav?
Yeah.
So the Mav was a customer of mine. Didn't really have much luck with the engine that was in it. So he came to me with some advice and I said, hey, let's do a Barra conversion. So for those that don't know, the Barra is a common motor found in a Ford Falcon from about 2003 to about 2015. The 4-litre 6-cylinder fuel-injected motor, a lot of 4-wheel drives now have got them in. They've done a lot of conversions into patrols and Land Cruisers and all those types of things to take out their old unreliable motors and stick these fuel-injected reliable motors in there. So we did the conversion at the workshop, I think it was 2019 or something. And I did say to him that if he ever wanted to sell his car, to come and see me, and that's exactly what he did. So we got the opportunity to buy it. It's a 1988 GQ short wheelbase patrol, badged by Ford, called a Ford Maverick.
Yep.
So now it's a Ford Maverick with a Ford motor in it. So he's pretty wrapped in it. It's a great car, very capable. Still a work in progress. Like it doesn't look like $1 million, but it goes like $1 million. So that's usually how cars go for your first car. So it's not too bad.
And so tell the podcast listeners what you've done to our Jimny.
The Jimny, oh my God, how long have you got?
And what else have we got sitting waiting to be done to the Jimny? Because heaven forbid that two people who own a mechanical workshop actually do work on their own cars in a timely fashion.
Yeah. So it has, like I said, it's been a 6-month project. Most of that we were waiting on parts and bits and pieces. We'll start with suspension lift. There wasn't much around in the way of 75mm suspension lifts for a Jimny. Got in touch with a good friend of mine, Dave Casey, who's sponsored by Dobinson Springs and Suspension. So they lined us up a really good kit from them. So we got a 75mm Dobbo's kit in it. I then lined up some tyres and wheels, and it's got some 265/65 17 mud tyres on it with some 17 by 8 inch wheels. I'm pretty sure they are. So that looks quite tough. What else have we done? We've done the Hamer bull bar, the Hamer rear bar. It's got a Hamer ladder. We've got the Rhino roof rack, got the Onyx lights on the front. It's got a Hulk 4x4 winch inside. It's got a GME XRS radio.
And it's pink.
It's pink. Yeah, the light surrounds on the spotlights are pink as well. Like the
antenna's pink.
The antenna's pink.
The number plates are pink. Yep. The springs will be pink again soon.
Yeah, we had the suspension pinked out, but it's now green at the moment, but it'll end up going back to pink. What else have we done? Oh, we've got the turbo. There, we can't miss that. So it's got a stage 3 turbo kit in it. It boosts the motor from 75 kilowatts to 225 on paper. And that's running about 7-pound boost. We're running just over 10 pounds of boost. So we're probably, if we've got 230, 240 kilowatts at the motor, it'd be quite nice. And yet to put it on a dyno and actually check it, but it scoots along. Like it's not neck breaking fast, but it makes it a lot more drivable when you're cruising along down the street and that. So it's intercooled and that. I've got a custom left side snorkel coming for it from Meredith Metalworks. That should turn up through the week before Rocky Nats. Then we've got to make a custom airbox for it. One of my mechanics at work is a very talented fabricator, and he's going to help us make an airbox for it to connect up to the snorkel and the turbo. Clutch, yeah, there's a new clutch going in it soon. The old one's still hanging in there. It's not, well, I say old, it's only not even 5,000.
6 months old.
Yeah, it's not even 5,000 kilometres old, but it'll end up buzzing itself to pieces with the turbo, no doubt. And we've got a racing rear diff to go in it as well.
Yeah. And then I want to get side steps.
Yeah, there'll be side steps.
Well.
I've got some rock lights and some other lights, and there's an awning and all that sort of stuff to come. So it'll get dressed up and
there's a few things inside as well.
Yep.
Like that center console.
Oh, yeah, the center console, the
armrest, the rear
armrest.
Door. Table that
falls down, just to make it a bit more practical when you're out and about. Yeah.
Like a one-stop shop car that can carry everything and do everything, go everywhere almost.
Yeah. So if you see a Jimny driving around Rockhampton that sneezes every time it changes gears, you know that's Nyree driving down the street.
And we do have to plug as well, because you and I, we are small business owners in the Rocky area, Capricorn Coast. So we've got customers that come to us from Gladstone, Yeppoon, even Emerald,
Moranbah, Claremont.
Moranbah, yeah. So we bought this car from Lawrence's.
We did.
Lawrence's is our local Suzuki dealer. So that's where we went. They looked after us really, really well. Like they did such a good job, and even Dobinson's, and then the other bits and pieces we've had to get from, suppliers outside of Rocky and the Capricorn Coast. That's because there's no other option. But
that's right.
As small business owners in this region, we know how important it is to look after the local guys.
Yeah. We were quite lucky though. At the time we put the turbo on, I had to send the ECU down to Avio Turbo World in Melbourne, and they had only just come back from Japan because they were testing the Jimny motor over there with some new tunes. So they were pretty excited to actually have one to come back to plug it straight in. So you've got a tune that they'd only just like redone.
Yeah.
They're doing the research and development on. It goes quite well. That's why we're able to screw a bit more boost into it. I probably can go a little bit more. It's got a little bit more fuel in it. So we've,
Oh, yeah, we've got a long-range fuel tank.
Oh, there's a long-range fuel tank in it too. It takes it from 40 litres to 80 litres. So, yeah, that's...
And we've got the modification plate as well, done by a local guy.
Yeah, local guy down in Emu Park does our mod plates. Yep. No, so it's a little weapon. I do enjoy driving it. It's a bit cheaper on fuel than the other two cars that we've got at the minute, but because of the current situation that's going on with fuel, we won't go there. But it's a great little car. So if you're in the market for a Jimny, highly recommend them. Very zippy.
Go to Lawrence's.
Go and see the guys over at Lawrence's. Yeah. They do a great job.
And what sort of things, like your patrol, your Y62 patrol's been in Rocky Nats a few times, just at the four-wheel drive display with Dave Casey, but also in the street parade. Obviously, you're not street dragging it. There's been a lot of work done to that car, and it's got its own webpage, like its own landing page to describe everything that's been done to it.
Yeah.
But talk to that a little bit. Is your patrol going to be in Rocky Nats this year?
No, the patrol's going to sit out of Rocky Nats this year. We declined the offer for sponsorship this year, so we said no. So the patrol won't be in there as a sponsor's vehicle. That's mainly why it had been in there the last few years. And being that Dave's a great guy, and my car's set up differently to other people's cars, and it's a true used four-wheel drive, like it's got bumps and scratches.
Not a display vehicle.
No, that's right. It's not a show car. It gets used. It's used for touring a lot lately for towing. It's a great tow vehicle, but yeah, fully self-sufficient. You know, it's got its own second battery. It's got a fridge. It's got a drawer in the back full of tools, 35-inch tyres, the suspension lift that's in it, all the lights all over it for touring at night. Like, we're just not scared to take it out whenever we want.
Honestly, you drive that car at night and you put your high beams on and it's like daylight. It is unreal.
Yeah, I get flicked for kilometres when I'm on the highway. Someone coming the other way, as soon as I see them, I've got to turn my lights down. Great lights. They're Onyx lights as well. They're great lights.
Yeah. And you don't have your bike in Rocky Nats, or you did put your bike in?
No, I've got the bike in.
Yeah.
So
clearly we, talk.
Yeah, obviously.
I find these things out at a podcast.
I swapped it out. We early birded our entries last year, and I hadn't bought my bike. So last year in July, around my birthday, I bought a 2023 120th anniversary Fat Boy Harley Davidson. Beautiful boy. I love it. Because we're not sponsors this year for Rocky Nats, I changed my nomination for the patrol to the bike. I'm only going to do the street parade on the bike. It's not going to go in show and shine or anything like that. So, only because we'll be busy with the other two cars. I just won't have time to muck around with the bike. So the bike will go back home and sit in the garage. There you'll see it coming out in the street parade. It's nice red with chrome handlebars, and yeah, it's nice and loud. We like things that are loud. Nothing stays standard. Our youngest daughter asks us every time we buy something, why don't you just keep it like this?
She was so excited for the Jimny. And she's like, finally, we have a normal car. And I'm like, not for long. Yeah. What house do you live in?
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. And she was devastated. But, when she is 16 or 17 and wants a car, she can go buy herself an unmodified Jimny and try and keep us away from it.
Yeah.
It will need something done to it.
Yeah, it'll need a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Also, why am I entered into Skid Row this year?
You're not?
I am.
Are you?
Yes.
How cool is that?
No, it's not. I'm not doing it. That's a line. I'm not going to take the opportunity and do that.
Did not think that you made the cut.
I'm entered.
Well, I've got tyres.
No.
Skid Row is actually really cool. You should just suck it and do it, because it's not a real big, long skid. You just got to chuck a burnout and stop.
I can do that anywhere else, though.
You don't, though.
At my house.
No, you don't see skids in your house.
No, I don't want to ruin the driveway.
But yeah, I actually do have tyres sitting there that you can skid on.
Why do you have tyres?
Because I do.
See, you do this, and you get prepped for it, and then you let me find out at the last minute that I'm in Skid Row.
I actually didn't think that you got the cut for Skid Row. Because when I went to put the nomination in, it didn't show up. So if you got confirmation.
I've got an email.
Wow.
I'm not doing it.
I might have to be entered 708. That would be cool as hell.
So
Don't mind doing skids.
I know, trust me. You know, I've been with you for a long time. I do know your car habits. Yes.
I know that because every time I jump in the Mustang, you tell me that you don't want it squished.
I don't want it squished because there's hooning laws.
I know.
And there's times and places.
That's
and
correct.
The streets is not it.
No, it's not.
It's really not. Although every time you drive around town in that car, all the kids want you to
rev it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that on the Harley too.
Yeah. I mean, they love it, and that's good because
or the limmy finger.
Yeah.
Sand it
everywhere. Yep. And then you jump in a car and you do what you've done to the chimney, and you still get people like pointing and waving, and you're like, oh, that's right. Yeah.
Neck snapping.
Yeah.
Take a double take. Well, what the hell was that?
Then I get in Madison's Pajero, and that's just no one sees you.
No, that's
no one
right.
notices you in that car. It's a good little car though.
Chameleon.
The big red car.
Big red.
Yeah, I wanted to get a wiggle sticker for it. The big red car.
Chugga.
Yep.
That's all right.
So what's your favourite part of Rocky Nats?
My favourite part, I'm sort of torn. I'm torn between the street drags, and because I don't race it, and it's only on your nomination now, just helping you prep and all that sort of stuff. Like it's like what I do with Alan and his race card. You know what I mean? Like I don't get to race it, but all the prep stuff, like I do all that now. So that's good. I like that. So the street drags is probably
We should enter 2 entries again next year.
I should.
We should both street race it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then my favourite part, and the same, I think it's your favourite as well, has got to be the burnout.
Yep.
The burnout pad. You got to get over there at the right time because just get the sun as it's going down over the city so that you don't burn.
I love the tyres with the different colours.
Oh, the different smoke. Yeah.
And then you see the sun going down and the photos are amazing. I know there's a lot of people that don't like them. I do understand that. I plead with them. It's 3 days.
Yeah, don't wear white.
Well, look, I like to wear white. I like to wear white at a mechanical workshop.
Yeah, you do.
And mostly I come out unscathed.
Yeah.
Just that one time that I got, I think it was grease all over me.
Grease, yeah. You put your head in with somewhere you shouldn't.
No, I walked past a hoist and something rubbed across the front of me and
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, don't wear white to the burnout.
Guess who's entered into Burnout Pros this year?
Who?
And he's come back from the USA.
Oh, really?
Luxifer.
Yes. I love Luxifer.
I've seen, so Kyle's back this year.
Yeah.
He's had I think 2-year hiatus over in the USA, working tyres in this Hilux over there, but it's back. It's back in Australia. He's coming to Rockhampton. I've seen the entry.
That is so good.
It is the best tyre frying Hilux you've ever seen in your life.
Such a good car. I love that car.
He had just recently when the Formula One was in Melbourne, he had Oscar Piastri go in it and chuck
really?
a skid. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That'd be, I think it was tied up with Monster Energy drinks or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, good on him. Luxifer's back. So there's all the usuals will be there. Only one tough HG and Slammer Rock and all those guys. So yeah, it'll be good. Tiny
And
Talon.
I like watching the guys that aren't in that pro category either. Like just the people getting out there having a go, having fun.
Tipping it in.
I mean, it would be absolutely amazing though if we could see this stuff more often. If we had our own motorsports precinct, in Rocky or Central Queensland, we'd be able to have so many events. And I know we could have a whole podcast about this topic, but you've been down to Queensland Raceway and Morgan Park at Warwick. So Queensland Raceway in Ipswich, and then Morgan Park, obviously, with Alan racing in the X3 series in his Hyundai. And then Townsville's got what it's got available
Just
to
up
it.
to drive it up in Townsville,
Yeah, and then a bit further north, there's another park up there, and it just would be so good to have one in Central Queensland.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgan Park Raceway, if anyone knows where that is at Warwick, it's only 5 kilometres, probably just a little bit more than that outside of the town. I doubt that they'd be able to hear what's going on in the town from there. So,
and you do, of course, want to make sure that you're not imposing on people, which is going to be hard. But I mean, it's going to be really hard to find the perfect location.
It will be. Yeah. It'll have to be a property that's thousands of acres, and it'll have to be that there's no neighbours for a while, and maybe
we should buy a property.
Yeah.
And then build a motorsports precinct.
Absolutely. If you build it, they'll come, innit?
They'll come. Of
Yeah.
course they'll come. This is Rocky.
So yeah, it'd be awesome to have a few thousand acres and to then
Mm.
build a nice big track.
Obviously, we're
and drag
dreaming
strip.
here, which we do a lot, but
Yep.
this is no secret reveal. There's no motorsport.
No.
We're not buying a property anytime soon, but
No.
it'd just, we sit back and dream about it and different
Yeah.
things that we could bring to the region.
So many opportunities we've had over the years. Like I remember when I was a teenager, just getting into the car scene. I remember going to meetings at the PCYC there at Stapleton Park, and we would have meetings with local councillors and that sort of stuff about building a motorsport precinct back then, and that's in the mid-90s. And I'm sure it was been going on since before then as well. The guys have been really, really doing it hard to try and make sure that we can find a place, a safe place to get people to go
and a
racing.
place that is still respectful of the neighbours and the people
Absolutely.
that live around
Yep.
the area that's being flagged, for example.
Yep.
And if that's not possible, again, not
Yep.
you and I,
Yep.
but maybe if we win the lotto, maybe we will go and do that. But I didn't even put tickets in, so not sure how that's going to work out for us.
I got a couple of bets on some horses today. I didn't do too bad last week.
Oh
I
my
turned
goodness.
$20 into $7.50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big, huge spender on bets.
Tell me your thoughts on the one child who's not really interested in cars, the one child who is racing cars, and the one child who's swapped horsepower for actual horses.
Oh, okay. So we'll start at the top. Mads. When Mads was getting her license, why do I need to learn to drive a manual car?
In case you need to drive a truck one day.
Well, exactly. That's what we said. And your dad told her that, and my dad told her that. And not that you would ever expect her to jump in a truck, but she has a manual license. She would know how to put the clutch in, put it in first gear and drive away. Most trucks these days, they've got synchromesh gearboxes, same as a car. So it'd be fairly simple.
And, to be fair, that was a bit of a joke. Like,
It was.
we never expected her to go and be a truck driver.
She can do it.
Yeah.
Can do it.
And it's just that manual aspect. But then, to get her into a four-wheel drive for her first car as well.
That was her choice.
And that's like, four-wheel drives give you the opportunity to go on adventures. Like, we are at Five Rocks right now with 3 cars that are all capable. One is owned by Alan.
Yep.
One's yours and mine.
Yep.
2 are yours and mine.
Yep.
And, we could have bought the Pajero with us, the big red car, but there was no need because we have 3 cars
Yeah,
here.
that's right.
And fuel is the way it is at the moment. But yeah, having a four-wheel drive, it's got an awning, it can go anywhere.
Exactly right.
Its adventure is just waiting for you.
And like her car being, I think it's a 1995 or a 96 model Pajero.
I thought it was a 94, but that's okay.
Maybe it's a 94.
Yeah.
Okay, it's that era. It's okay. It's a V6 petrol. All our four-wheel drives are petrol. I won't go down that path, but yeah, we got all petrol four-wheel drives. But hers is a V6. It's a manual. It doesn't look like much, but mechanically it's a very sound car.
Yeah.
We've made it very safe for her to drive. We did a fair bit of work on it when we bought it. Unfortunately, it blew a motor because the hose blew out and it
So we
seized
got
up.
another
But we
motor.
got another motor out of all things, a Mitsubishi Magna, and we put it in and it's still going strong. Still a great car. And then she can jump in it tomorrow and drive it to Brisbane if she wanted to, if she could afford it, if petrol prices aren't that ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, it's cheaper to get the train, really.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
And what about Alan? Like, he has a Motorsports Australia license.
Yeah.
He does not have a road license.
Yeah. So when Alan was 8, I got him into go-karts. We bought him a go-kart. So he had a karting license, which he was pretty proud of because it was a license to race a go-kart. You just can't not have a license. You have to go through tick all the boxes to do that. And you've got to have a provisional license for go-karting and you've got to get out of that. So he was pretty happy to have all that and do that. And the only thing that stopped us from doing karting was when COVID came along, and we just it all come to an abrupt halt. And by the time COVID came and went, the kid grew 3 foot. So we decided, rightio, we'll give him the option. Mate, do you want to continue go-karting or do you not? And he decided, well, I don't. At that time, I think he was 12 or 13 years old, because it was going to be a whole new race suit, new
really
helmet.
Expensive to
Yeah,
set it up again.
That's right. Because you change classes, it's a new go-kart, new engine, new tyres. It was a whole, it was different. So he just made the decision at that time where he didn't want to do it, which is fine. But then he decided to get into sim racing. So he's been racing on his sim in his bedroom, which is really cool.
It's a pretty cool setup.
It is a cool setup. Yeah, it's budget, but it's cool. It does the trick. It's been helping him understand the racetracks that he's been going to lately for his Hyundai. But no, it's a cool setup. But when we decided to go racing again, we got in touch with the guys from the Norwell Motorplex down at Yatla, or near Yatla, or it's Norwell. And Paul Morris and his team down there have been really, really good. Welcomed us down there. They, you pay to go and do training, and that's what he did. He did driver race
And he
training.
paid for that himself.
He paid for that. I
He
think it was
saved and saved and
$1,700 or
saved,
something like that. It was
He
pretty
did that
pretty
a couple of
expensive.
times, yeah.
Yep. So he's paid to go down there and do that. And you're not just jumping in a road car. It's a set up Toyota 86 race car, and you're out there and you spend most of the day just cutting laps around the Norwell Motorplex, and to watch his lap times drop and drop and drop and drop and drop, and then it's really good, and it gives him an understanding of braking and turning, and then you go back inside and you do a bit more theory, and you watch how they explain how braking into corners and how the balance of the vehicle changes and helps you turn and all that sort of stuff. So the Norwell Motorplex was really, really good. And so from the Norwell Motorplex, we decided, rightio, well, let's see if we can't get a seat somewhere to go racing. We contacted a few people for some arrive and drives, and being that he hasn't had many runs on the board in racing for, say, the just didn't really eventuate. So I said to him one day, I said, mate, well, let's just go and see if we can't get into one of the cheapest forms of circuit racing. And it's a Hyundai XL. So we found an XL. We went and bought it. We fixed it all up, and we're out racing this year. Did a round at Queensland Raceway and a round at Morgan Park just last weekend, and it's just all learning, And he's not out there winning the races because that's not the expectation. The expectation is to get in there, learn the car, learn the tracks, and develop your racecraft.
And he's really lucky to have the sponsors that he's got as well.
Absolutely.
Which are Rocky locals.
Yeah, all Rocky local sponsors. We're so happy to have them on board.
A couple of bigger state national ones as
got
well,
a couple
but
of ones, yeah.
like all of the foundation sponsors are Rocky locals.
Rocky locals, yeah.
Galactic Donuts jumped on
straight away
immediately.
Yeah, same with
and then
Palazzo.
So did Palazzo Finance.
Yeah.
And obviously Johnson's Four-Wheel Drive is a foundation sponsor, and of course Marketing and Agency Co. And then Dave Casey, SWL Racing.
SWL Racing, yeah.
Provides him mentorship and guidance and connections. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there's lots of other sponsors, but those are our foundation ones. And, for them to jump on so early without him even having a career, and they went, yep, we're going to back this kid.
Yeah.
Was pretty cool.
Absolutely. We will carry those foundation sponsors as long as they're willing all the way through his career. So, if his ambition is to go and race supercars, you will find those foundation sponsors somewhere, either on his vehicle, on his suit, on his helmet, somewhere. They will be there.
Yeah. It's important to always remember where you've come from.
Absolutely.
And who backed you at the start.
Yep.
Yeah. So third child. She does love the car.
She does.
She does love supercars.
Yeah.
When it suits her.
And was her favourite driver? It was Thomas Randall.
Oh, no, wasn't it?
Or James Courtney.
I think it was James Courtney.
James Courtney, yeah. And then Thomas Randall. She does like Thomas because he plays the piano.
I think there's another one as well. Is it Cam Waters?
Cam Waters, yeah. Tickford. Yeah. So look, the thing was
she's
Sarah.
12.
She's 12, yep. He's found this love for animals. Not that she's found it, I suppose, but she's always loved the animals.
She's always loved animals and horses.
So she's now out there started a little bit of a pony club thing, and now she's found someone that's teaching her to do more stuff with horses. I think
it's one-on-one lessons.
One-on-one, very personal lessons, barrel racing.
Because Sarah doesn't have her own horse.
Yep.
Because we obviously have too many cars. She gets to ride her teacher's horses.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very lucky. Very lucky.
So it is a type of horsepower.
Yeah.
It's just one single horse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, at least she has an appreciation for it. And of course, we are at Byfield, and Madison's driving your patrol right now.
Yeah.
Alan's driving his
Shorty.
I've got the Jimny, and you're switching between all three of them and guiding and helping and mentoring. Like, we've got two young kids, 19 and 17, and we want them to be able to adventure anywhere.
That's right.
If they know how to four-wheel drive safely, hopefully when they come here without us, they don't break their cars by being silly. But no, this is really good. I really did want a Rocky Nats episode, and you've nailed it, which I knew you would, because you can talk about cars forever. I
try not to.
Why?
Well, I do cars all week.
Yeah. You do love it though.
I do. Like if someone wants advice on stuff, I'm usually open to giving my opinion. Whether you take my opinion or not, that's okay. I'm not phased. Some of my opinions are pretty strong. Most of that comes down
This is
from
why
experience.
we don't own diesels. Don't go
Yes.
there.
We don't own diesels and we don't own EVs.
That's all good.
But we do. We got one vehicle that we own is Offset, the Mustang.
E85.
It runs on E85. We're supporting the sugarcane industry in Australia.
Yep. Just got to make sure that pie face has always got E85.
Yeah, that's right.
But we do have our own stock for Rocky Nats, of course, because every year it runs out, and it's not your standard E85, it's the BP race fuel blend.
That's correct, yeah. We've got the BP 85.
What, $6 or $7 a litre?
No. Oh, if you buy it by the drum, it's quite expensive. But I got it out of the Bowser at Queensland Raceway when I was down there.
Yeah.
So I bought you back some high-quality E85 for the Mustang.
And we are not driving it much at the moment because of the price of fuel in general.
Yeah, that's right. There's no need for it.
Oh, plus the Jimny's fun.
The Jimny is fun.
And the bike's fun.
The bike's cool.
Yeah.
I took Sarah out for a lap yesterday on the bike. That was quite cool.
No, all good. Well, this is going to be a great Rocky Nats episode. We do love it. And while we're not sponsors anymore, we're still entrants and we're still very active, very keen, very eager spectators.
Yep.
We've got platinum passes. Wouldn't pass them up at all.
You'll see us around.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yep. You'll be able to check out the Jimny down at the SWL for display. If you're lucky enough on the Saturday morning to catch Nyree racing in the street drag, should be racing on Saturday morning.
I think I'm in the 11 a.m. spot, or am I in the? I'll have to check my time.
Check your times, But I think you're in the Saturday morning slot this year. Yeah. And if you're lucky enough on Friday night, you might see her at Skid Row.
No, that's not happening. No. Anyway, thanks, Dol.
No worries. Wasn't so much of a stitch up after all.
It was a stitch up. It's good doing life with you.
Yeah. Life's always interesting.
It's always interesting with you.
Never ceases to amaze people what we can do when we're together, though.
Yes. But as I said at the start, the really corny Instagram thing, we met each other and connected when we both had nothing. And all we had to offer was ourselves. And we've done some pretty cool stuff.
We have.
We've had some pretty horrible times as well. But in general, it's really cool doing life with you.
Got to take the good with the bad. I love it. Wouldn't have it any other way.
And I like to keep life interesting for you.
I know you do.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Rockhampton with Nyree Johnson, proudly brought to you by Marketing Unagency Co., the marketing team who do things very differently and who are determined to make the world of marketing less chaotic and far clearer for small businesses and community groups.